Hi everyone, so I'm back. And I wanted to continue because I know tomorrow is the D-Day for the Russian investigation. Somebody's going to be indicted. So I wanted to come back and finish at least the main characters. And I'm going to start with Kushner. I had done a reading about him yesterday, or a couple days ago, sorry. And I went back and I was going to just go over it. And then I thought it was still a little bit generic. So I did a second reading just now about the actual investigation. Like, what is Mueller looking into about him? Like, what's Mueller's angle when approaching him in the investigative process? And then B, is he going to talk to Mueller? Is he going to be honest with Mueller? What information, if any information, is going to give Mueller? And then the third part is, what's the verdict? What's going to happen to him? What will Mueller decide about him? What's going to be the final decision about him? So, okay, so the first reading I did, something that I hadn't thought about very much, that I think everybody knew, that his motive really was financial. I had thought, because of Ivanka and him, how they dress and everything, that there was a beginning. The goal was, it was a political goal for them. But what the cards are showing you, that it's not a political goal; it's a means to an end. So that's what I thought was so interesting, is that he came, and the second reading is showing this too. He has a lot of financial problems that are sort of old. So I feel like he saw this as an opportunity to fix these problems, and he got himself into deeper problems as a result. So I'll just show you these cards quickly. First, what's okay? So the question of what's Mueller's approach. So I see Mueller's approach. Basically, what's the story that Mueller's going to tell him and his lawyers when they approach him, wanting information probably, or wanting to make some sort of deal. So the first card that comes is this long-term problems, and this is a card of the past, of things that happened in the past. So long-standing problems, and then this is a card of working groups. So long-standing, and then working groups leads to, this is very, very negative card, so leads to grief. So this is like, basically, he's been, when the whole thing starts, it's like he has all these problems, and okay, he decides that, in order, just let's do the smaller cards here, little Normans together, just so you see. So the first storyline is this one, right? So it's like long-standing problems, grief with these problems, that like really getting very depressed about all these problems, and deciding that this is the solution. This is the foreign government. So he, in order to solve these problems, he realizes that he can have help of the foreign government. And behind this card of the foreign government is victory card. So he decides to, in order not just to solve the problem, but that to solve the problem, the solution would be a victory. He gets the victory through the foreign country. They work together, right? This is a group work card, and it solves his long-term problems. So that's how the first storyline about him through Mueller's perspective. And then it shows that what does he say? Does he say anything to Mueller? Is he honest or not honest? What I'm seeing is that he, I don't think he lies, but I feel like he tells a limited side of the story. So the first part is here. This is him, right? A card for him, and the burdened man. So he's a burdened man, and so he makes some sort of decision. It's a kind of like a judgment card. Like, he decides to go with the older man. Like, the older man presents some sort of choice, and he then is forced to leave, or like here, this is a house, so real estate. So real estate related to the older man make him, he's burdened about these situations partially created by the older man, or something to do with the older man. And we have to remember he's part of the family. So whatever problems the older man might have become his problems. And so I think he tells this, the way he tells this story to Mueller is that, he'll hear there he is very burdened and he carries the family legacy. So he's forced to make these decisions about real estate. Okay, so I feel like that's what he's going to present to Mueller. I don't know that this is actually seems to be true, but that still doesn't, that's not really the meat of the matter. That's not the core. So, but that's what he's going to say. And then the verdict, final verdict we're going to have here. So, okay, so the first thing, this is like the King of Wands reversed. And I've done a lot of readings and it shows up a lot. So first I thought, oh, this is name, Putin, but I feel like it's Trump because it's like the charismatic man who's kind of crazy. And then, hello again, our familiar death card. So ending to the crazy man. This card came, I did some research before doing all these readings about the just, like, what is the meaning of imprisonment, or like when a person goes to jail, what cards show up? This is one of them, reversed. So justice reversed just means that the verdict goes against him. And there's another lovely card, loss. So it's saying twice, you're going to lose this because there's going to be a loss of the older, like the crazy man, a loss of the legal, on the legal front, and problems with, I don't want to say authority, but the group, like society a lot, or like the groups, or like problems with, this is a card of the Pope, so it's like the norms are going to go, he's going to have problems with, I would think in some ways, the zeitgeist, like the world is going to turn against him in a way. So it looks really bad for him. I mean, I feel bad. It feels like, am I even like making, there are 36 cards on the Lenormand, and they all seem to come up. Like similar cards come up to the people involved in this. And it's like, here is just do the smaller ones here for the ending, what the verdict is from. So this order, first, second, third. Yeah, so ending, loss, and problems. So I feel like he's definitely going to suffer judicial consequences because of his association with this older crazy man and problems with the norms. So he's definitely looks like he's committed some sort of crime. I can't tell if from this reading if he's going to like jail, whatever, like is he just going to lose his money or something like that. That deserves a whole other set of questions. But again, this was just a reading about Jared Kushner and the actual investigation itself. So next, I'm going to go back to the first reading I done, which is a little bit more generic, and go over and show what it said. I'm going to pause here.